Okay, paper 3 solutions. So bearings is the first question. Write down the size of angle ABC. Write down means it's very straightforward, you can just read it off. And there is an alternate angle there, a Z shape. So that means this one is 58. So this is 58 degrees. Give a reason why. And the sentence that you need to write down is alternate angles are equal. Next, find the bearing of B from C. So from C means you start at C, draw a north line at C, and go in a clockwise direction towards B. So towards B. This is the one that you're trying to work out. 58 degrees on this side, obviously, and this part of the line is 180 degrees because you have angles on a straight line. So it's 180 plus 58, which gives 238 degrees. Next question. Find the value of f when g equals 6 and h equals -5. So if we substitute in here, we have 6 squared minus 4 times -5. Okay, and you can type this into the calculator or you can work it out yourself. It's 56. The next one. Solve this inequality. So we take 7 from both sides. We're going to end up with 41 minus 7 on this side. That's 34, sorry. And then we can divide by 8. So W is less than 34 over 8. Now you must not write down 34 over 8 on the answer line. You have to write W is less than 34 over 8. Or if you choose to convert it to a decimal, 4.25. They don't mind. Next question. So reflect shape P in the line L. You can use tracing paper to do this, or you can use the method where you count squares from the diagonal line. So you go 1 across, so we go 1 down. Here we go 2 across, so we go 2 down. Here from the line we go 1, 2, 3 across, so we go 3 down. And the next one we go 1, 2, 3, 5 across, so we go 5 down. Let's keep doing this. Got 1, 2, 3 across, so we go 1, 2, 3 down. Okay, it's that one. And then there's one more. Oh no, I've done that. I've done all of them. Okay, so you can join the points up now. Next one, describe fully the single transformation that maps shape P onto shape Q. So there's 3 marks for you to make 3 points. 1 mark is for saying it's a rotation. The second mark is for saying how many degrees in which direction. So it's 90 degrees clockwise. And then the third mark is for stating the center point. Okay, so what you can do here, you can get your tracing paper. Okay, draw over the shape. So draw over shape P. Okay, and take a guess where you think the center is. So let's try, I don't know, 1, 6, for example. Right, and we'll spin the tracing paper around. Okay. Oh, look, it worked. That means the center must be 1, 6. So center 1, 6. You've got 3 marks there. Next one. This is an estimate for the mean. When we have an estimate for the mean, we need 2 extra columns. One is for midpoint, one is for midpoint times frequency. So the midpoint, okay? The middle of 1 and 10, okay, so 1 and 20, if you want to work it out, you can do it like this. 20 and then divide by 2. And that gives you a middle of 10.5. So 10.5 in the middle. And if you do something similar for the next one, we get 30.5 and then 50.5, 70.5, 90.5. Okay, and then we have to work out all the products. So we do midpoint times frequency. 1 times 10.5 is 10.5. And then 152.5, 404, 705, 543. Okay, then you work out this total, which is 1,815, and then you divide it by how many students there are altogether. If you add up all the students, there are 30 students. You must not divide by the number of rows. So it's 1815 divided by 30, and that gives you an answer of 60.5. Next question. Right, simultaneous equations, but because one of them is in the form y equals, it's actually easier to use the method of substitution. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute 3x into the second one because it tells me that that's y. So 7x plus 3x equals 25, and that gives me 10x equals 25, which means x is 2.5, and y is 3 times x, it says there. So that's y 7.5, and that's the answer. You score 4 marks like this. Now, if you prefer to use the other method using the Casio calculator, it needs to be in the form x's plus y's equals a number. So we have minus 3x plus y equals 0. Then 7x plus y equals 25. And what you need to do here is you can use the Casio mode, it's absolutely fine. Got CG50 to do this, or you've got the class Wiz. Okay, and just go to the simultaneous equations mode and it'll give you the answer, but it's got to be in this format, you see. So let's take a look. We have menu, equation, simultaneous, 2 unknowns, enter your A, B and C. So you've got minus 3, 1 and 0, and then 7, and then 1, and then 25. So this gives us 2.5 and 7.5 as the answers, which is what we said. Okay, good. Next. So 2 of these lines have been drawn on. It's just this one that needs to be drawn on. X plus y equals 4. So there's 2 numbers that add together to give 4. 4 and 0, 1 and 3, 2 and 2, 3 and 1, 4 and 0. So this is the line. It should really be a dashed line. In the mark scheme, they're not too worried about whether it's dashed or not. So, but I will draw it dashed because it should be dashed because it's greater than. It's only a solid line if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. But anyway, so let's go through these then. It's less than y equals a half x plus 3. A half x plus 3 is line L, crosses the y-axis at 3, so it's below that line. It's greater than 2x minus 3, that's line M, so it's greater, so it's above that line. And it's greater than x plus y equals 4. Yep, so it's this one. So it's got to be this region here, that's in between. It's not always in between, but quite often it is. You shade this region, yep, and then my R in there. Okay, next. So gradient, use the gradient formula, label these coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2. So substitute in y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have negative 2, take away 1 over 8 minus 4. And you can type this into the calculator. And you end up with minus 3/4 or minus 0.75, don't mind. Find an equation for line L. So it passes through points A and B, so we know that the equation of the line is y equals minus 3/4 x plus c for cat. then we can use either of the points A and B to work out C. So if I use, say, 4, 1, and substitute this in, 1 equals minus 3/4 times 1, minus 3/4 times 4 plus C. Okay, rearrange this to work out C. You end up with C as 7. Okay, and then it says it wants it in this form: ax plus by equals c. So far we have y equals minus 3/4 x plus 7. And to get rid of the divide by 4, so there's no fractions because we want just integers, we times everything by 4. So you get 4y equals minus 3x plus 28, and then x's and y's on one side and numbers on the other side. Okay, like that. Okay, good. Next, so tree diagram. So, lands on a 6, 1 out of 6, the rest must be 5 over 6. And it's always going to be like this. Work out the probability that both dice land on a 6. So that's going to be 1 over 6 times 1 over 6, 1 over 36. I would not change it to a decimal. She throws a third fair dice. Work out the probability that at least one of the 3 dice lands on a 6. This phrase, at least one, means one or more. So at least one of the 3 dice lands on a 6. There's a quick way to do this, because there's so many different options, but the one option that it cannot be is if they all do not land on a 6. So you could write it like this: 6 with a bar, that means not 6. If you work out probability of not 6, not 6, not 6, this is the only option that cannot be included, and then we can use the 1 minus method. So if we do 5 over 6 times 5 over 6 times 5 over 6, we end up with 5 over 6 cubed, whatever that is. And then we can subtract that from 1. And we end up with 91 over 216. That's definitely the quickest way to answer that question. D is proportional to t squared. Oops. So D equals k t squared. Work out k. So 12.5 equals k times 5 squared. Rearrange to work out k. End up with k equals a half. So then rewrite the answer on the answer line: d equals a half t squared. Work out the value of d when t equals 9. So we have d equals a half times 9 squared. Okay, just type that into the calc. You get 40.5. Next one. Bit of calculus here. It's good. So differentiate. You bring down the power, times it by the number in front. So 3 times 1 is 3. Reduce the power by 1, so it becomes x squared. For the next term, you do 2 times 3, which is 6. Reduce the power by 1, so it becomes x. Okay. Turning points occur when dy by dx equals 0. So let's set the answer from part A equal to 0. Okay, you can use the ABC method if you want to, where c will equal 0. Or you can maybe be able to spot that this factorizes into one bracket like this: 3x brackets x plus 2 equals 0. And then you have either 3x equals 0, or you have x plus 2 equals 0. So 3x equals 0, x equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0, x equals negative 2. Okay, so this one must be negative 2, and this one must be 0. So the maximum is at negative 2. Okay, this is a max and this is a min, obvious reasons. We just need to work out the y values. You can work out the y values by substituting it into the equation of the curve. So for the minimum, if you substitute 0 in, you end up with 1. If you substitute negative 2 in, you end up with 5. Okay. Now we can check this on the CG50 by going to Menu, Graph, and typing in the original equation of the curve, which is x cubed plus 3x squared plus 1. So we have x cubed plus 3x squared plus 1. Okay, go to V-Window, Standard, yep, draw it. Okay, G-solve, max, minus 2, 5, G-solve, min, 0, 1. Perfect. Next one. So, we take the bit outside, we times it by the entire length of the line, and that's equal to the bit outside times the entire length of the line. Okay. So we have 8 times 21 equals 6 times CE. Okay, 8 times 21 divided by 6 is going to equal CE, which is 28. 28 is CE. That whole line there is 28, which means this bit here must be 22. 28 take away 6, 22. Next. So, the total area of the two circular faces of the cylinder is 10 pi centimeters squared greater than the curved surface area of the cylinder. Right, the curved surface area of the cylinder from the formula sheet is 2 pi RH. So you have 2 times pi times r times 4. And if we tidy that up, we end up with 8 pi r. The circle on the top is pi r squared. There's a circle on the bottom as well, the area of the two circular faces, so we times that by 2, and we end up with 2 pi r squared. And what it says is, the total area of the two circular faces is 10 pi centimeters greater than the curved surface area. So you take, if we read the sentence carefully, the total area of the two circular faces, that's 2 pi r squared, is 10 pi centimeters squared greater than the curved surface area. So this is equal to the curved surface area of the cylinder, which is 8 pi r plus 10 pi centimeters squared. We don't need to write 10 centimeters squared. What we're asked to do here is to work out the value of r. Okay, so I've got a little equation here, and we can solve this. So you can, if we just, it doesn't look like a quadratic yet, but it is in fact a quadratic. So if we shift it all onto one side, we have 2 pi r squared minus 8 pi r minus 10 pi equals 0. What you can do here is you can divide everything by 2 pi. If you divide everything by 2 pi, you get r squared minus, so we're going to divide by 2 pi, the pi is going to cancel, that's going to become 4r. And divide by 2 pi, the pi will cancel, and it will become minus 5 equals 0. Okay, you can use the AM method to solve this, or you can use the quadratic formula. If you factorize this, we end up with r minus 5, r plus 1. You solve to give r equals 5, or r equals negative 1. Now r is the radius, so it can't be negative 1, so it has to be 5. Okay, the next one. So, the slant length of the cone is L. The total surface area is 36 pi. Total is in bold, so that means we need to include the circle and the curved surface area. So, work out the exact value of L. So we have pi times r times L. That's for the curved surface area. We also have the circle at the bottom, which is pi times 2 root 3 squared. And this is equal to 36 pi. Now, we just need to tidy this up a little bit. Okay, so let's have a look. Pi, well, if I write it a different way, 2 root 3 pi L plus, now what is 2 root 3 squared? We type it in the calculator as long as you type it in brackets. So 2 root 3 squared. Okay, that's 12. So we have 12 pi, and that equals 36 pi. So from this, you can work out what L is. Okay? If you take the 12 pi over, it's going to become minus 12 pi. So you're going to end up with 24 pi. Okay, there's a pi on both sides we can cancel. And all we need to do now is work out what L is. 24 over 2 root 3. Okay, let's see what that is. Yeah, 4 root 3. Okay, now it wants the answer in the form 2 root a. So at the moment we have 4 root 3, but it wants the answer in the form 2 root a. So what we do is we set our answer equal to 2 root a, and from this we try to work out what a is. So what we're going to do is take the 2 to the side, so it becomes divide by 2. So then if we divide by 2, we get 4 root 3 over 2, that's 2 root 3, and that's equal to root a. So then what's a? Well, if we have the square root of a is 2 root 3, then a is equal to this squared, and if you square 2 root 3, you get 12. So remember, we want to write it in the form 2 root a, so now we know it should be 2 root 12. And you can check this on the calculator by typing in 2 root 12, and it should equal 4 root 3, because we said it should be equal to 4 root 3 earlier, and it is. Right, next one. So lots going on here. Work out the length of AB. So what we need to do is concentrate on this triangle here. Okay. And there's another triangle that we need to concentrate on as well, which is this one. Let's take a look at the black triangle first of all. The black triangle and the red triangle meet at the line AB. Sorry, EB. Wait, pardon. So EB is common. So maybe I can use the black triangle to work out the length of EB. And then I can use EB in the red triangle to work out AB. That's what you've got to try and spot. So I'm going to try and do that. Let's take a look at the black triangle then. Draw it out separately. So we have what, 60 here, 60 degrees. This is 50. This is 12 centimeters, and that's all I have. I want this side EB. So it's a non-right angle triangle. In match, I can use this, either use the sine rule or the cosine rule. So you ask yourself the question, do you know a side and its opposite angle? The answer is yes. So good, I'm going to use the sine rule. So I can match x up with 50 degrees, and I can match 12 up with this angle at the top. Okay, but I don't have the angle at the top. I can work it out fairly easily. The angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, so that's going to be 70. Okay, and then I can start to work out what x is, which is EB. So sine rule. A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Okay, I want the sides on top, so this is the version I'm going to use. Okay, and then do something like this. Okay, and so we can work out what B is. It's around about 9.7824. Okay. Then what we're going to do is go back to that red triangle. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You've got to think about what this shape looks like from, like if you were looking at it from a bird's eye view. From a bird's eye view, it would be this would be a rectangle, right? A, B, C, D. It would be a rectangle. This would be 12. And what we're trying to do is work out this side here, which is AB. This corresponds to AB. But if you've noticed that it's a rectangle, then maybe you can see that there is an alternate angle here. So this, if we look at it, this is Z here. Okay, that's because these two lines are obviously parallel. So if this is 60 degrees, that means this one is also 60 degrees. Yes? And we know the length of EB now as well. So if I just draw this triangle out, it's a right-angled triangle. Yep, the right angle is here. This angle is 60 degrees, and I've just worked out that EB is 9.7824. I'm trying to work out AB, which is this side AB. So what should I use? Basic trigonometry. This is O. This is H. I'll use sine, SOH. So draw the SOH triangle. It goes SOH. Okay, we'll fill it in again a bit bigger. Okay, so you have sine 60. That's O is X, and that's 9.7, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you type these two into the calculator. Sine 60 times 9.7, and we end up with a final answer of 8.47 when it's rounded to three significant figures. Okay, next one. For this one, we substitute it in. So x is equal to y minus 3. So we substitute it in like this. 2 times y minus 3 squared plus y squared equals 15. Okay, don't forget BIDMAS. So do the brackets first. Y minus 3 times y minus 3 plus y squared equals 15. So we have 2 and then times, when you tidy this up, you get y squared minus 3y minus 3y plus 9. So that's y squared minus 6y plus 9 plus y squared equals 15. Times this bracket by 2, so you get 2y squared minus 12y plus 18 plus y squared equals 15. And it's supposed to equal 0. So what we'll do is we'll shift it all to one side and tidy up. And when we do that, we get 3y squared minus 12y plus 3 equals 0. And now we can use either the ABC method, or we can use, we can cancel this down a bit and then factorize it. So if you do decide to use the ABC method, which I will in this case, you have to write it down like this. Okay, and then substitute into this formula. Remember, it's going to start off y equals, so it's minus minus 12 plus minus the square root of minus 12 squared minus 4 times 3 times 3 over 2 times 3. Okay, and when we type this into the CG50, go to menu, equation, polynomial, F2, degree 2, enter your A, B and C. We have 3 and minus 12 and 3. Yep, so we've got two answers for y. We have 2 plus root 3. Oops, wrong calculator. And 2 minus root 3. Okay. To work out the x values, do y take away 3. When you do y take away 3, okay, so let's have a look at this thing. So you've got y, which is 2 plus the square root of 3. That's the x value, and then you take away, so that's the y value, and then you take away 3 from that. So you end up with minus 1 plus root 3, minus 1 plus root 3, and then same with this one, you take 3 away from it, so you end up with minus 1 minus root 3. Okay, two pairs of answers. Okay, and then you just need to write them down as decimals at the end, which I know is disgusting, but I have to. So x equals minus 2.732, y is 0.6268, and then x equals 0.732, and y is 3.732. Okay, and they match like that. Okay, thank you very much.